What's up, Rocky Balboa fans? Now, if you have been watching me for a long time, you may know I happen to be one of the biggest Rocky fans in the world. I mean, I've made so many videos talking about the Rocky series because it's such a great and beloved franchise. And I've seen a lot of people make videos ranking the Rocky movies from worst to best, and I've decided now's the time that I do my ranking. So in this video, I'm going to be ranking all of the Rocky movies from worst to best, which means I'm ranking the ones from 1 to Rocky Balboa. And I am a fan of the Creed series, just so you know, but I want to focus more on the Rocky series just because it's a little more easier to rank in the Rocky series, right? Although I do love the Creed series. Today I'm going to be ranking the Rocky series. So let's kick it off with bottom of the barrel, and I think this should surprise absolutely no one. Last place, Rocky 5. Now, I know a lot of people hate this movie and everything about it, but I am a fan of the movie. I am a defender of it. I understand some of the criticisms, but the thing is, this movie takes place right after the events of Rocky 4, which was a massive hit, and Sylvester Stallone was paid $1 million to return to his role as Rocky Balboa. And were they going to come up with something good? Well, they came up with this. So basically, this is mainly about Rocky versus, now you may think he'd be fighting a boxer, but he fights bankruptcy and brain damage. Because due to the fight with Drago, he has suffered brain damage, and Paulie gave power of attorney to their accountant, which means they become broke. And then Rocky ends up mentoring Tommy Gunn, played by Tommy Morrison. Now, Tommy Morrison is a great fighter, but in Rocky 5, when he's Tommy Gunn, you want to like him, but then he just turns out that Rocky has trained just an absolute jerk and just cares about the fame and everything, which is no surprise. Yeah, he just turns out to be a jerk, and then it ends it off with a street fight, which is kind of ironic, but kind of cinematic. I definitely dig a good street fight. We usually see Rocky fight in the ring, but he's fighting in the streets, which is kind of different. And I do like the father-son relationship with Rocky and Robert, who of course is played by Sylvester Stallone's real son, Sage Stallone. And yeah, that is at the bottom of the list. And now, number 5, Rocky 2. Now, this was actually really hard because Rocky 2, to be honest, is not that bad. It's just kind of like Rocky 1. He just wins. Because if you want to see the main character win, this one is definitely the film for you. What I can say about this movie has my absolute favorite training montage in the entire Rocky franchise. Because, like, when he's running through the streets of Philadelphia, this time with a bunch of kids following him until he runs up the Philadelphia Museum of Arts. It's just such an iconic scene, and I will always treasure that scene in the Rocky franchise. It's just such a beautiful scene. And the fight with Apollo is honestly really, really entertaining and really good, and Rocky finally wins the championship. And the reason why they had a rematch is because in the first film, Apollo wins, but by unanimous decision, and he's been getting a lot of criticism about not actually beating Rocky. He just won because none of them got knocked out. So the anger that Apollo has, of course, there has to be a rematch, although Rocky has no plans on having a rematch because if he fights again, he gets blind, and Rocky has been getting a lot of money from that fight, and he's been selling it like hotcakes. And he actually can't read when he's doing that commercial for Beast Cologne. He can't really read, so that's kind of weird, making Rocky seem a little bit dumb that he can't read, which is kind of funny. And of course, Adrian in a coma, that's always a tough scene to watch, but Rocky does win just because of these words from Adrian. Win. All right, and now number 4, Rocky 3. Now, this is really hard. I love Rocky 3. It is such a 80s film. You can really feel like this is the 80s because it has so many famous actors that were actually really well known, especially around the 80s. Like we have Hulk Hogan as Thunderlips, we have Mr. T as Clubber Lang. Clubber Lang, Mr. T, he played such a good villain in the movie. Of course, we have the death of Mickey, which is always a bummer. I always get a little emotional every time I watch that scene just because it's so sad. I've seen many people react to it and they cry, and honestly, I don't blame them because Mickey is such a good character. He is really the heart and soul of the franchise. He's like the angel on Rocky's shoulders, as they said in Rocky 5. But, Rocky decides to retire in this, but Clubber Lang sexually assaults Adrian, and that brings Rocky right to the moment where I have to fight this guy. But before the fight, he shoves Mickey, and Mickey ends up dying. And Rocky loses the belt, although Rocky gets some momentum from Apollo Creed. And of course, this movie debuted one of the most iconic songs of all time, Eye of the Tiger. Eye of the Tiger was actually made for Rocky 3, and it's such a absolute banger of a song. Sorry, I almost said underrated. I'm sorry, I really don't know what that means. I just say it out of controversy, but yeah, it's such an iconic banger of a song. And they were originally going to use Joe Exposito's "You're the Best," but Stallone ruled it in favor of "Eye of the Tiger," and so they used that song for the Karate Kid. Sorry guys about my voice, but now to the top three. Number 3, Rocky 1, 1976. Now, a lot of people have this at top of their list, like number 1. And like, I can't honestly blame them. This is such a great film. This is what introduced us to Rocky Balboa, and it is just such a good film. So basically, Rocky is a fighter who fights in clubs, but then Apollo Creed, the champion, is looking for somebody to fight, and he decides to get an up-and-coming light heavyweight a shot at the title, and he finds a name that sticks with him, Rocky Balboa, the Italian Stallion. And Rocky Balboa fights Apollo, and this is honestly probably my favorite final fight in the franchise. It was such a good fight. Rocky got cut open. He turned it into like a jack-o'-lantern. I swear to God, when he gets his eyelid cut open, that's always a gross scene for me to watch. But yeah, and we get to see Talia Shire as Adrian, as she starts off really shy, but then she learns to love Rocky. And yeah, it's just such a beloved film. It won Best Actor, Sylvester Stallone, and he deserved it. And Sylvester Stallone gave this a 10 out of 10. It is just such a inspirational film. And now we're on to the top 2. And I love both these movies for different reasons. Number 2, Rocky Balboa, 2006. Like, how can I put it into words? I really love this movie. It is such a great film. There were actually people joking on Sylvester Stallone being too old. There were actually rumors 10 years before Rocky Balboa what the next Rocky film was going to be like, whether he'd be fighting in a retirement home or he'd be in a wheelchair. Not far off, actually, but they did a phenomenal job portraying Rocky as this now retired fighter who has no plans on getting back into the ring. But as you may know, CNN compares him, or ESPN compares him with Mason Dixon, played by Antonio Tarver, who's a real boxer, and he actually plays a good villain in Mason the Lion Dixon, which is an absolutely stupid name. But like this, they compare him with Prime Rocky in this like video game fight, and that actually gets people talking on like who would win, Prime Rocky or Mason Dixon, because people don't give Mason Dixon credit because they say he's fought cream puffs, and so he decides that this could be a great opportunity to get the respect by fighting one of the most iconics in Rocky Balboa. And Rocky Balboa tells his peers that he wants to fight, although everybody is kind of on board except for Rocky Jr., who tries so hard to talk Rocky out of it. And this leads to probably the most iconic scene in the whole franchise, Rocky's motivational speech, and I'm going to do the whole thing. Let me tell you something you already know. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a really mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you think you are. It'll beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. Nothing is gonna hit you as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. And if you want to prove what you're worth, then go out there and get what you're worth. But you gotta learn to point fingers, and nobody's gonna tell you who you want to be because of him or her or anybody. Cowards do that, and that ain't you. You're better than that. And like, that has to be probably the most iconic scene in the franchise. And I love the training montage in this film. It's kind of funny seeing Rocky as an older dude training, and it's just so good. And I love the final fight. They made the right decision with having Rocky lose the fight, which I know we usually want to see Rocky win, but it's just that the only reason why Rocky agreed to this fight is just to show everybody that he still has it in the tank, and that he can still smell the sweat in the ring, and that he still is who he says he is. And that's number 2. And now let's get into it. The best in the franchise. Number 1. And there can never be another number 1. Number 1. Rocky IV, also known as Rocky IV. Come on, you gotta agree. This is the funnest Rocky movie. It has the best soundtrack, No Easy Way Out, Hearts on Fire with Burning Heart, and like the idea of Russia going against America, like it's just the most fun movie in the franchise. And of course, we get probably the saddest death in the franchise with Apollo Creed dying. Everybody kind of tears up every time they watch that scene. And now that we lost the great Carl Weather, it makes that scene even tougher. We get Ivan Drago, played by Dolph Lundgren, and hands down the best villain in the franchise. It's the sick tone demeanor. And Rocky didn't throw in the towel for Apollo. That's why he died. And as Drago said, if he does, he does. But yeah, and then this leads to Rocky wanting to avenge his friend. Although Adrian is not on board, she was like, you can't win, Rocky, because you've seen in the papers it's suicide. You've seen how strong that, what happened to Apollo, it could happen to you. But the reason why Apollo kind of killed himself in the movie was because, like, he just can't let the sport of boxing go. Rocky tries to talk him out of it, which is by saying, your time is up, and, like, you don't have to prove anything. But Apollo's like, no, I want to do this. And that leads to his untimely death, and it leads to Rocky getting momentum. We get a training montage in Russia that actually was filmed in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. We saw, now the thing is, the two training montages between Drago and Rocky are super different, because Drago uses high-tech training and, like, steroids. Rocky is, running up snowy mountains, chopping wood down, and, like, he's in a farmhouse, and it's really different. But, like, the final fight at the movie is just so iconic. And yeah, that is hands down my favorite Rocky movie in the franchise. And that is my ranking of the Rocky movies. If you want to see me do a ranking of the Creed franchises, let me know in the comments below. And let me know your ranking of the 6 Rocky movies in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you are new. And tap the notifications to get notified when I post a brand new video in the first 30 minutes. And I'm out. Peace.